What is your name, please?
My name is Pam Kinney.
Number 2.
My name is Pam Kinney.
Number 3.
My name is Pam Kinney.
Only one of these people is the real Pam Kinney and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel. Film and television producer David Niven Jr. Actress and recording star Gloria Loring. 4-time Super Bowl champion and MVP Lynn Swan. And to tell the truth's very own Kitty Carlisle. Here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Gordon Elliott.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the show. Good morning, panel.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Kitty Carlisle, can I show people that ring? A lot of people have commented on your beautiful jewelry. It is beautiful. You said your mother gave it to you
Yes,
before.
she did. She gave it to me for opening in a play in New York.
When was that?
Quite a while ago.
And the play was...
It was called Anniversary Waltz.
Oh, it's a beautiful ring. It's marvelous.
Love it.
Okay. Gloria will borrow it on weekends. I can see Gloria.
My mother didn't love me that much.
Okay, let's get right to the story presented by our first team of challengers, all three of whom claim to be Pam Kinney, and here is her story. I, Pam Kinney, wondered for 20 years why my mother put me up for adoption. I wrote letters to her that I was unable to mail because I knew neither her first name nor her address. At age 15, I decided I had to find her and learn the truth of why she gave me up. I wrote to hospitals, caseworkers, and judges. And when I finally found her, I found out the truth. The whole time that I thought I'd been abandoned by my mother thought I was dead. Now, 2 decades later, my mother is overjoyed to have found her long-lost daughter, and I'm delighted to finally know the truth. Signed, Pam Kinney. Welcome, challengers, and we'll be right back after this story with more on Life After Death. Welcome back to Tell the Truth. All right, panel, these three people before you all claim to be Pam Kinney, who found the mother who thought she was dead. Now, we'll start the questioning with Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. Number one, why did your mother think you were dead?
My natural grandmother, she told my birth mother that I had been hit by a car.
That you what?
Had been hit by a car.
Number two, how old were you when this story was told?
I was 2 years old.
And number three, did you discover when you found your mother that you had brothers and sisters and a family? And
Natural brothers and sisters? I have no natural brothers and sisters, but I do have I have an adopted family, which is my real family, and now I have a newly found mother.
Lynn?
Number one, where were you living all this time while you were looking for your mother?
In Florida.
In Florida. Were you living, number one, with an adopted family or relatives?
With my adopted family.
Your adopted family. Okay. Number two, were you aware of any of your relatives whatsoever?
No, just my adopted family.
Just your adopted family. Number three, how long did it take you to find your mom?
About 5 years.
About 5 years. Okay. Number two.
I'm sorry, you've got to go on to Gloria now.
Number one, how do your adoptive parents feel about your finding your mother?
They were always pretty supportive of me.
And number two, at what age did you find out you were adopted?
I've known all along.
You knew from the beginning.
Yeah.
And number three, did your adoptive parents tell you this, or did you just know because you had been 2 or 2.5?
I was told, and I can sort of remember going to the court when they actually signed the papers to adopt me.
How did you, number one, how did you finally find your mother? What was the final piece of evidence that led you to her?
I went to an agency.
Okay, David Niven Jr., to round things off.
Forgive me, in which state did this take place, number one?
In which state did what take place?
Where you found your real mother?
I found her in Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island. Number two, did your adopted parents tell you, did they have other adopted children?
No. No, now I have an adopted sister.
I see. Number three, do you think parents should tell children that they're adopted?
Oh, definitely.
Number one, were you told you were adopted, or were they keeping your adoption secret?
I've always known.
Number one, staying with you, and that is that your grandmother, right? Why did your grandmother tell your mother that something had happened in the car?
I assume she didn't feel my mother was capable of raising me.
Terrible story. I'm sorry,
Yes.
David, we've got to
No.
stop there. Well, let's find out now. The time's up, and the panel has to vote for either number one, number two, or number three. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is filled completely, the team will receive $3,000. Now, panel, if you're ready to cast your votes, we'll start with Kitty Carlisle.
It's a sad story, but it has a happy ending. I didn't understand all of it terribly well about why the grandmother didn't, but number one had a very good answer. Number three, I didn't get very much information from you, so I voted for number two.
All righty, that's your decision. Lynn.
Well, I'm gonna have to go with gut instincts. I mean, this is it's a tough story. It's a very sad story, and I just think it's number three, that she was very happy and that she had the diligence to find her mom after looking for 15 years.
Gloria.
It's such a subjective story, it's very difficult to know. I feel the same way Lynn does, and I also, just my instinct, I went for number three.
All righty. Strong vibes being used here. David Niven Jr.
Well, I think I'm so happy for whichever of you it is that found your parents. Anyway, I think it's number one because number one's answer made a lot of sense to me.
Okay, there's one vote for number one. As you can see, that's the only vote she gets. Two for number two and two for number three. Sorry, one for number two and then two for number three. Okay, now it's time to find out. Will the real Pam Kinney please stand up? Oh. There you go. You got it, David. You got it. And let me introduce Pam's birth mother, Ruth Duval. Ruth, come on in. Now, let me first of all ask you, Pam, what was it like having two mothers now?
It's a lot of fun.
Is it?
Birthdays are great.
And Ruth, is she imagined as you would want her to turn out?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. She like you?
In a lot of ways, we have the same sense of humor.
You are?
Like
You
food fights.
two peas in a pod there. And it's
In
not
a lot
just
of
the
ways,
dresses, yeah.
yes.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm so glad. It's a wonderful story with a happy ending. And let's just find out, number two and number three, imposters. But number two, what do you really do? What's your name?
My name's Kathleen Green, and I broadcast news on the radio.
Oh, really? And number three, you've got two votes. What do you do?
My name is Marion Wachtel, and I'm a graduate student at UCLA majoring in molecular genetics.
Good girl. Well, there were three incorrect votes at $500 a vote, so you receive as a team $1,500, and congratulations and thank you all for being here on To Tell the Truth. After these few words, we'll be right back with Mr. Washington's Dirty Laundry. A friend of mine. Welcome back, and let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Rick London.
Number two.
My name is Rick London.
Number three.
My name is Rick London.
Well, it's up to you, panel, to locate the real Rick London, and here is his story. I, Rick London, show people the seamy and silly side of the capital of the free world. 2 years ago, I founded Scandal Tours, a freewheeling bus ride that takes tourists past the most famous scandal spots of Washington, D.C. I'll show you where reputations have been ruined, careers squashed, and administrations disgraced. Our tour includes not only the Watergate Hotel, but also the spot where Fawn and Ollie did their shredding, and where Gary Hart allegedly did his bedding. So the next time you're in D.C. and you want to dish the dirt, climb aboard a Scandals tour bus and leave the gossip to us. Signed, Rick London. Welcome, challengers, and let's start the questioning with David Niven, Jr.
Number one, what type of bus do you drive?
A Greyhound bus, but I don't actually drive it.
Do you have more than one bus in your fleet of buses?
We have two buses.
Number two, do you drive the bus?
No, I don't.
Okay. Number two, how many tourists come each year on your buses?
I'd say about 5,000.
5,000. Number three, you said leave the gossip to us. What's the latest really good, juicy bit of gossip?
Well, I think what's going to happen now is that we have a new Supreme Court opening. The nominees will be under Ridicule and scrutiny.
All right.
Okay, we'll move along. I'm sorry, David, to Gloria.
Number 2, is there a most requested location?
I'd have to say Watergate.
Watergate. All right. Number 1, how did you begin this business? Where did the idea come from?
Well, it originally started 2 years ago whenever I had relatives that keep visiting, and they always want to see George Hart Townhouse, the Watergate, and other places like that, the Capitol.
Okay. Number 3, is there a location associated with the Teapot Dome scandal?
Certainly, that's Congress.
Lynn Swan.
Number 2, what is the most scandalous spot on your tour?
I'd probably have to say the White House.
The White House itself. Number 1, are the tourists more interested in political scandal or sexual scandal?
Oh, definitely sex scandal.
Definitely sex scandal.
Tacky.
Number 3, are there restaurants on your list for best scandals?
Absolutely.
Okay. Number 2, how much do you charge for this tour?
$27 a ticket.
Ooh.
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, number 2, I'm interested. You said the White House had the most scandals. What's the juiciest scandal from the White House as of today?
Probably dealing with Warren Harding and also with Nixon and.
Number 3, do you know anything about what happened in an elevator in the White House?
Probably a lot of sexual scandals.
Tell us, Kitty.
Later.
Okay.
Number 1, how could you show them where Fawn and Ollie did their shredding? It did it in an office.
They did in the old executive office building.
So that's enough for the tourists just to see the building?
Oh, yes, but we have actors on the tour bus that portray Fawn Hall and Ollie North as well.
Oh, you do? Number 2, do you have to... Oh, my
there
goodness.
you go. You shred as you go. Time's up, panel. Time to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. A team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is filled completely, the team will receive $3,000. Panel, are you ready to cast your ballots?
No, it's too tough.
David Niver Jr., you're first.
Well, I'm not ready either, but I suppose I'll start then. Having never been to Washington, D.C., I'm totally confused. So I, therefore, I'm just going to take pot luck. That's all I can do this time around, and go for number 1 because he sounded like he knew it better than the other 2.
He did, didn't he? Gloria.
There's a certainty about number 1, and I'm also going to drift in that direction. Yes.
Okay. Could be a clean sweep, Lynn.
Number 2 seemed to hesitate a little bit with his answers. Number 1, he gave an answer about 2 years for the family, kind of wanting to see about these tours, and that didn't quite fit well in my mind. Number 3 looks cocky enough to give a scandalous tour in our nation's capital. So therefore, cocky number 3 gets my vote.
All righty. And you, Kitty.
Well, I think number 3 knew about Warren Hart with the Teapot Dome, and I thought that anybody who's interested in scandals would know historical scandals, so I voted for number 3.
Okay, this could be embarrassing. Okay, here we've got 2 votes for number 1, absolutely nothing number 2. Why did you bother turning up? And 2 votes for number 3. Now for the moment of truth. Will the real Rick London please stand up?
The whole time. The man was sandbagging us. I believe he sandbagged us.
He may not have any charisma, but he's very, very successful. Now, number 2, do you know what went on in the elevator in the White House?
I haven't the slightest.
I think you better talk to Kitty before the show's over. Okay, let's find out who our other imposters really are. Number 3, you got 2 votes. What's your real name? What do you do?
My name is Randy West, and I'm a radio disc jockey.
Okay. And number 1, 2 votes. What do you do?
My name is Kelly Williams, and I'm a customer service rep for a chemical company.
Okay. Well, you have stumped our panel, so your team will receive $3,000. And thank you for being here with us today on To Tell the Truth. We have added something new to Tell the Truth. It's called One-on-One, and we'll be back right after this to play it with someone from our studio audience. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now it's time to play One-on-One with someone from our studio audience. And Burton, who do you have for us today?
Well, Gordon, let's meet Patrick Killam of Syracuse, New York.
Welcome, Patrick.
Hi, Gordon. How you doing?
Okay. Well, Patrick, here's your big chance to play one-on-one. I'm going to introduce you to a lady who's going to give you 2 stories. Liz Curtis. Welcome, Liz. Now, Liz is going to tell us two stories, only one of which is the truth. And, Patrick, if you can spot the true story, you'll win $500. Liz, what is your first story?
I am a United States professional Latin American dance champion specializing in the lambada.
Now, that may or may not be the truth. Let's listen to Liz's second story.
I worked for a company called Pie in Your Eye, and I was hired by Madonna to throw a pie in the face of Warren Beatty.
Now, panel, to help Patrick win $500, you'll ask one question about each story. Let's start with the first story, the dancer, Kitty.
Thank you. Now, is it a very athletic dance, the lambada, and how long does it take to learn it?
It doesn't take that long to learn it because you're just so close to your partner.
Lynn.
In football, they called it bump and run. How many Latin dances are there?
There's probably as many Latin dances as there are Latin countries.
Gloria.
Where did lambada originate?
Brazil.
David.
You say you were the Latin American dance champion. What were you the champion of before the lambada?
The cha-cha and samba.
Okay, now, Patrick, you've heard Liz's first story. Now, story number two, the pie in the face to Warren Beatty. And back to you, Kitty.
How did he take it?
He laughed, thank goodness.
Lynn.
What flavor was that pie?
It's just plain whipped cream.
Just whipped cream.
Gloria.
Anyone else famous you've thrown a pie in the face?
I threw a pie at Don Rickles once, Bob Newhart.
Oh, couldn't have deserved it more.
Who eats the pie if you miss?
Nobody. It's mostly all whipped cream, so there's not much to eat except for the crust.
Now, Patrick, you've heard the cross-examination. Is Liz, in your opinion, a dance champion, or did she throw a pie at Warren Beatty?
Well, Gordon, I'm going to kill myself here. She sounds like she knows a lot about the pie, but I think she's a dance champion.
Okay, now, if you're right, you win $500. Liz, what's your true story?
To tell the truth, I am a United States professional Latin American dance champion.
Congratulations. You won $500, and thank you for playing one-on-one, Patrick. Good luck. We'll be right back with Liz Curtis and her partner Colton Green performing the newest dance craze, the lambada, after these few words. Tell the truth, and now here is Liz Curtis, 7-time United States Latin dance champion, and her partner Colton Green with the dance that we've all been waiting for. Hit it. That's right. Well, panel, thank you for this edition of To Tell the Truth. We'll see you next time. You have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
This is Burton Richardson speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson television production.